Welcome back to WC Bricks and another episode of building the Batcave in Lego. And in this episode we're going to be concentrating on all of this area here. So we're going to be sorting out the bridge, the road going across it, the road going into the manor, and all where everything's going to be going. And then we're going to start on doing the landscaping. So putting the flower beds in, any trees, the graveyard, the carport, and also the well, and all things like that. So it's going to be quite an interesting episode to see how we get on. I have been trying to design some trees and failed dismally, so that's another thing we're going to be trying to concentrate on. And the other thing is, obviously, we've still got to do the steps and the front door on there. So the bridge has been started on the top. We put the walls on both sides. We will tile the top of it off. We just need to put the road in here now. So we're going to be doing the snot technique as we did in our Mills plate video. And here is a sample of it. And it's 10 bricks in width in total. However, we've changed one of those bricks to 2 plates and a tile, which obviously add up to a brick. And that's purely so we got the smooth edge on there. And the reason it's light bluish grey on each side is purely because at the moment I don't have that much of the 1x dark bluish grey plate, so I can easily change it off afterwards because this will just sit in there. And if I come round to there, you can see it's in there nice and snug. So yeah, what we're going to do now is just build that entire section up into the grounds, and then once we've done that, we'll work out how the road's going to go within the manor. And here we are back with the snot road. So as you can see, it goes all the way in and then goes off at a diagonal angle. It's going to loop round to the carport, and then it's going to do a loop there with a fountain in the middle. Now, one thing I have realised, I need the steps all built up to go here, so I know how far it's going to come across, so it doesn't interfere with the road. So I've started prototyping the steps, and as you can see, there's a load of filler brick under there. You won't see any of that. It's going to be covered by the masonry bricks. I just need to join the two together, so I'm going to do that now. Put it back in front of the front door, and see how it looks. And if I'm happy with it, I'll tile it all off, put masonry bricks around the edge so you can't see any of the filler brick, and then I can work out where the road starts to go. And the steps are pretty much done in regards to the structural side of it. We're 1 plate too high at the moment, so the very top step I'm going to replace with a tile. Can't go any further back towards the house, otherwise it's going to hit the arches that are going to be just there. But overall, it's about the right look that I'm looking for. What I need to do next, as mentioned before, is just build all of the brickwork around there. It's going to be sitting on tiles, and then I just need to work out a way of keeping it all in place. But that shouldn't be too difficult. It might be a case of putting a turntable below it, or a turning brick, one of the 2x2 ones, something like that. Alternatively, it might just be kept in place by a couple of studs, so using a very similar technique to how we connect these floors here. So I'll have a play with it, see what works out best, and go from there. And here we have the stairs, and I thought they were all done, and they fit under there perfectly. So there is a tile just here which will be touching the bottom of that section there, and it will all be snug, so there's no gaps down the sides. The bricks do actually touch. However, after I finished doing it, I realised that it needs to be 1 brick high because it's going to be sitting on this. So I need to work out whether or not I make the road come to sort of like just in front of it, or whether I want it to go under it. Originally I was going to have it going under it, however I need to make sure that it can still go in there flush if I do that. So yeah, it's frustrating that there may be a technical problem with it. However, it won't be that much work to peel off 1 brick's worth of build on there because of the way I've built it. And the steps up to Wayne Manor have been completed, and put a few extra details in, like the cylinders there. Might change those for cones if I can find some in the light bluish grey colour. However, overall I think it looks quite good. If I just zoom out, you can see the whole property. And once we've got the flowers in, the arches on there to give them more detail, and the details around there, I think it's going to look a lot better. So yeah, that's the steps. It's all changing the Lego room again, so that's all been cleared out. Put a couple of calyxes in there with all my books. The falcon's now got a home where it's safe, so that looks good down there. Here I can now walk all the way around the Batcave, which is important because I need to get here to put the lights in. Now, the last thing I did on here was started the gardens. Did a bit of amendments to the road, started fixing it in place ready, made the graves for his parents. But the problem I was having is with these plates. Some of these plates are 8x16 studs in width and length, and I couldn't get them push down completely. So I get 3 edges and the other one just wouldn't pop down. It'd pop up, I force that down, another side would pop up. And then when I put a lot more pressure on it, the plates in the bottom of on the roof of the Batcave fell off. I then started fixing it, knocked that and destroyed that, so I've had to rebuild that. It's been nothing but problems with it. I then had a couple of people ask me, am I going to have a working lift or a fireman's pole from Wayne Manor down into the Batcave? And the answer was no. I've got a lift door in there. That's what it is. That's how it is. Obviously, it's not to scale or anything like that, so that's all I was going to do. I'm not going to do an interior in Wayne Manor, or I wasn't intending on doing an interior in there. I was just going to have it with the as it was sort of thing. Anyway, I've been thinking about it, and I thought, how hard would it be to have a fireman's pole in there? So what I was contemplating doing is this room that would be down here, which I have got some walls in there, I could put a bookcase which opens up to reveal the fireman's pole, which then goes down into the Batcave. Now, obviously this is one solid unit. However, I do think it needs to be reinforced. I think there is a slight sag, which is why I can't get those plates to stay on there properly. And also, when I look at the road, there are slight gaps here, or just there, if I zoom in, which shouldn't be there. It should be flush up against it. So it's not quite, something's not quite right there. So if I take this off, I have art plates all the way down both the sides, but in the centre is Technic bricks. So I could actually cut a section out and put a hole in there so the fireman pole comes down into there. It would be a lot of work, but it could potentially be worth it. Obviously I've put all this wool all the way around the edge here, which I've started, but I can peel that off and it can go back on. It's not a massive thing. All of the details along here, I can sort of like take them off, put them in a box, make the amendments to the roof and then put it all back on. So it is something I'm seriously considering doing. It's just whether or not I want to take the risk of what could happen taking the roof off. Will this collapse, for example? Will I drop something and destroy half the cave? Will the top section of this break off? Going by the fact I'm struggling to get this fully compressed makes me think that not all the studs are connecting anyway, so it might be okay to do. It's like here, you should not be able to see that brown plate there, but you can see it's almost half a plate that's exposed. Here, it's probably about a quarter of a plate you can see, so it isn't going quite together there, and just here you can see it's not lining up properly, and it's all because it's not pushed down. So yeah, need to have a good think about it and decide whether or not it is worth taking the gamble of peeling the roof off and doing the amendments to it, for just that one feature of Batman being able to slide down a pole. It won't be mechanical, but it could be good just for the cinematic side of it. How much is it going to bring to the party? That's the question. It's it's an interesting one, and one we're going to have to consider. Another option is, do I put in a cage which is on a winch? So that's another option. I don't have any chain pieces, but again, it's things like this I just need to have a little think about and decide what to do. A lift shaft I can't do because I would have to knock the rockwork out, and I'm not touching the rockwork on there, so I can't even do it so the door opens in there. It's just a case of leaving it to your imagination. With Wayne Manor, I need to do the illusion that there are things behind the manor there, because obviously if this was a manor house, you'd have more than one door in a manor house. The grounds would be bigger. So I want to sort of I might put it so there's a garden archway going through there. You sort of think that leads to the imagination that the garden extends that way. So all these things we're going to have to think about. And then once we've made our mind up, we decide whether or not to make those changes. So let's get thinking and then let's get building. And the roof has come off so smoothly. It was a couple of plates have still not come off. And after a lot of consideration, I've decided that I need to destroy part of the rockwork down there. Reason being, I've decided I am going to go ahead and put the lift shaft in, and I've drawn up a little bit of a plan of how I think it's going to work, which I'll show you. And here it is. And the idea is I'm going to have a cog in the floor of Wayne Manor, and then there's going to be the Technic piece, which is like teeth on a 1x4 plate, and that's going to be attached to a big bar. That bar is going to go up and down throughout the manor, so I'm going to have to build part of the manor which is fixed to the rockwork, and then the house will wrap around it. then that's what it'll look like on the one side, and it'll just simply be 2 runners. I'm not sure if I need to put cogs and teeth on both sides, then a plate attached to the bottom, and it'll just go up and down. I'm going to attach a second Technic beam. This was one with the round end, no studs on, to the side of the runner, and then that will be kept inside a wall which will be keeping it all in place. But yeah, I thought I'd just show you those drawings, and now it's time to start ripping the rockwork down. It's not too much of a facelift to do because the main structure bit will still be at the back of the rockwork, so it's just a bit at the front, so it shouldn't be too much destruction. In less than 5 minutes we had cleared out where the shaft is going to be going. So we've taken off all the rockwork and obviously the steps at the bottom and the doorway, and as you can see, there's very little damage done to the structure, the rockwork, purely because of the way we've built this on here. So that's really good. Now what I can do is I can put the new lift shaft in there, and obviously the manor rests against a wall. So on top of here we have a wall, and then the manor starts on that stud there. So I'm going to need to put another brick here. It's going to come out not even as far as what the previous stairs did, so that's going to look quite good. And yeah, we need to do is just work out exactly how we're going to build all of the runners in there, and I think that's the thing I'm going to start with first. Build the runners in, and then I'll be able to go from there. And here we have the first runner for the lift shaft, and what will happen is this will be sliding in there and go up and down. We're going to put a plate on the snot bricks along with a tile, and then that will keep it all in place that way. And yeah, that will just slide up and down. So we just need to build the other one on the other side, and then there'll be a 5 stud gap in the middle of it, and that's what the lift will sit on. So all we need to do now is continue to build the rockwork up on this section here all the way up above the suit chambers, and then that'll be that part of it done, and then we can start working on the mechanism. So the lift shaft is pretty much done. So as you can see, we've got the snot bricks in here, and there are 4 bricks in between each snot brick, so that enables me to attach a plate to it, and here is the plate which is going to be on there. As I say, I'll put some trans blue tiles either side just to give it a little bit of character, and the plates in the middle there are just purely to keep everything in place. So what I'll do is just connect that to the snot bricks, and that's going to act as part of the runner for the device. And then this is the actual lift or lift mechanism. So I'm going to attach a plate on the bottom here and then build the lift on top of that. So I could make it a structure, or I might just put some like bars and things like that, or chains around it. What then happens is this just slots into the runner like that, and then it just goes up and down. All I need to do is attach the 1x4 plates on here which have got the teeth on them, and then the cog will sit sort of like just in front of it, and then that will pull this up and down once a wheel's being turned. So I've put the cog on here, and obviously these here as well, and this is how the lift is going to be operated. Now this here is 2 of the arc plates which is going on the roof, and we have 1 brick left over on the end there. So as you can see, that's where it comes to. So I've got 1 brick left of space here. Now, one problem I have got at the moment with this mechanism is obviously it's going over into the lift, which I knew was going to happen because of this rail here, but I wasn't expecting it to be as low as it is at the moment. So when I turn this, obviously the lift goes up and down, which is absolutely perfect, and it runs smoothly. It is quite tight, so that's why I'm putting the pressure on the bricks, otherwise it's just going to pop off and the gears are going to start missing. So what I think I'm going to need to do is actually make the lift 1 brick wider. So all I need to do is remove that row of bricks there, peel that off, bring it over, and then extend the width of this. That way there's going to be a 4 stud wide lift for him to stand on, because at the moment I either have it 3 studs wide, or if I make it 4, it's going to be off centre, and I don't think it's going to look as good. So just need to amend that, and then we can sort of like carry on building the lift shaft up. Should have thought about it a little bit more before I started, but you know, it is Dubsy Bricks and we do like to do everything 3 times. So yeah, let's rip this up again and bring that over 1, and then we can start to build the lift shaft up the top, and then I'm going to start building the floor around it. So rather than do the 1 big plate like I did previously and then whack it on, I'm going to build the floor across, and hopefully that's going to work. And also it's going to enable me to press it down hard onto here, because last time when I put it on, I noticed that it wasn't connecting properly, and even using a hammer, trying to whack the bricks down, just couldn't get it fully pressed in. So I think hopefully by building it across, it is going to work that a little bit easier. So yeah, let's take that, dismantle it, put it back together, and I'll check back in once I've done so. And only took 10 minutes to amend the lift shaft. So as you can see, we've now got a 6 wide area here. This plate here is 6 studs instead of 5. Middle bit's now 2 wide. This is also now 8 bricks in width now, as opposed to the 7 it was previously. So this area here at the bottom is 4 studs. So that's how wide the lift is going to be on there. So the platform for Bruce Wayne or Alfred to stand on when they come down into the Batcave. I'm sure in real life it'd be a lot wider, but obviously I'm just doing this as a last minute feature on the mock. So I'm just grateful that it's gone so smoothly and that we can get this lift actually working. What I need to do now is I'm going to do a few of the details inside the Batcave while I've got the roof off, because it's going to be a lot easier to work down than it would be sort of like underneath here. So yeah, and then once I've done that, I'll start building the roof out just so far, I think. And the roof is back on the top of the Batcave, and it wasn't that straightforward. Originally I was going to start one end and then build my way down, and that way I was hoping I could compress all the bricks together, and it just didn't work. I couldn't get enough pressure on there, and it was still moving a lot down on the plates underneath. They kept popping off as well. So I took the whole section off and then built it as one. And again, just trying to get the grey plates on the bottom was really hard. And it turns out that trying to make them go over the corners of 4 plates to join them all together wasn't the way forward. So what we've done, I don't know if the light's going to be good enough, the 16 by plate is completely on one of the 16 by 16 art bricks, and then I've just put these 4 by 6 plates on each of the joins to join it all together, and that seems to have worked a lot better. They're a lot more sturdier under there and not falling off. And along here it's a lot flusher. There's no problems like there were previously. There's a very slight bit of brown shown there, but again I can easily push that down and it's not going to be an issue. So the problems I had previously have all gone, and now hopefully when I go to put the road down, which was a problem before, it wasn't quite joined up, I'm hoping it is all going to be nice and smooth on there. Onto the lift shaft, obviously that's coming through there nicely, and what I was originally going to do is put the building there, and I was going to make it so there was a bit cut out of the back of the building and the base and everything, and then just slide it up to the lift shaft. However, I'm thinking about building the base actually onto this, so it won't be movable like I was originally going to do. And the reason for that is the cogs that are needed for here, they've got quite a bit of pressure to move. This is quite stiff, and when I just loosely put the device on there, the cogs, they would pop off, and I had to put my fingers on there to keep it all in place. So I think by building the base on there, I can get a lot more clutch power on the bricks to keep everything there, and then those cogs won't be slipping and it'll work nice and smoothly. So that's the reason I'm thinking about going for it. It'll only be the base that I'm going to build on here. The other 2 floors will still be modular, and then what I'll do, I'll just cut a hole in the floors of both buildings and then slide it around the lift shaft. So I'm probably going to build the lift shaft up so it's one separate building, or one separate unit, sorry, and then just slide each floor on top of it, and then hopefully that will work nicely. So the first thing we need to do is bring the base over, get that built on there. So I have found out some arches for the base of the house. So I had originally ordered those off of lego.com. However, I found some, so I don't need those. So now I can just crack on and get that all done. So yeah, let's get to it. So we've managed to build the mechanism all into the base of the platform here, and I've put as many bricks around this as possible. And initially I stupidly blocked the bit here, so there was a plate going across there, so I wondered why can't I get that up, and yeah, it was just plain stupidity on my behalf. So I put a lever on the back here, and just to show you, so we just turn that around and the lift comes up, and then again other way and it goes down. So yeah, really pleased, it's come along really smoothly. So here, as you can see, is the actual floor section and I totally forgot that I'd actually built the first floor onto this. So I've either got to decide whether the first floor is permanently in place on here, or whether or not I put a row of tiles around there so that floor can come off as well. But I'm thinking I'm just going to build it on here, and that's it, job done. I'm not going to be moving this anywhere, so there's no necessity for it really to be modular as such. If you're not, I'm going to take the top floor off and the roof off in case I want to film inside of there. But yeah, that's all done. So now all we need to do is just continue to build this section here around that and put a hole in the floor just there so it all works out. And the base has all been built in and supported now. What I need to do is put the first level of grey plates all over the top of it, and then we can put the walls back in on the manor. And we're going to have to change the walls inside so that we can make the elevator there. So not sure how I'm going to do it yet. Obviously the lift comes up and you would step in from there. However, I might see if there's a way that I can do it so he steps in that way, so I can have like the bookcase here. So I might do it so a bookcase opens possibly on using another lever, and then it'll be like a secret entrance into the back cave. But yeah, let's get that floor down and then we can start looking at what we can do with the wall structure. And we have the floor all down on here. As you can see, there's a hole just here, and it's just these two plates, and they'll just pop on there after we put the lights in. So I can feed the lights through the back under there, and it will come through the channel along, and then we can put the base plates, the grey plates back on top of here, and then that will all be done. So next up, we need to rebuild the house back up on here. At the moment, it is in a complete mess, as you can see down there. Yeah, it didn't peel off that well at all, so I need to sort that out. We'll bring all the parts back up here, and then we'll start reassembling it. And then obviously, as I mentioned before, we need to work out exactly how we're going to be doing the lift shaft in there so that it looks all good for when we do the cinematic. So yeah, let's get building that house. And there it is. We put the black windows in, reassembled everything, and now all we need to do is work out where we're going to be having the walls and the entrance to the lift shaft. The reason this isn't placed off here is because a plate was coming across here for an internal wall. However, obviously where we've got the hole there, we can't have that. It's going to potentially cause a few problems because the wall would need to go on this row here, because obviously we need to keep that stud empty so the pole can come up, or the runner can come up, sorry, and that would need to sit on that plate there, and I need to leave that off until I put the lights in, and I haven't actually received the lights just yet. Hopefully they'll be here this weekend, and then I'll be able to get that sorted out. So as you can see on the top floor here, we have got this little section around the lift shaft, and the reason that grey bar is there is just purely so when this comes up, it knows when to stop. What I was worried about doing was it going too far and derailing, but also knocking the roof as well. So I made sure that the lift only actually comes to the floor, dead level there, but also go all the way down. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to build this wall across here, and also, I know I put a door in, there's not going to be rooms up here. That was originally where the stairs were going to come up. However, I've decided that I'm not going to be doing the full interior on here. It is just literally going to be that one room there for the cinematic. So yeah, once we've done that, I need to just turn the door frame around because I've realised I put that inside out, and do the tiles on the bottom of here. And there it is, all bricked up and tiled up. So that's all enclosed now, so things can't fall down there. But as I said, we're not going to be doing anything on the interior of the building up here. So that's why it's all grey. Didn't think it was any necessity to put any bright colours in here. But I was just going to put one more wall over there, and then the top floor is all done. So yeah, let's build that wall up. So I've realised that across here I can actually bridge the gap. Previously it just stopped here and was suspended in there, and there's no necessity whatsoever for that to be the case. So yes, I put the blue bricks all the way across, and all I need to do now is put a hole in the floor just down here so the bookcase can swivel open. And whether or not that's going to be mechanical or not yet, I haven't quite decided. I could do it so that I could pull the floor out and possibly put a cog below it, and then have another turn wheel on the outside which will open it. So I may very well do that next for the next update. But yeah, really pleased with how that's come on. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to put this all back together, put all the floors back on, then I'll just do one final update for the video. And there we have Wayne Manor all put back together. The floors are on, the roof's on, the steps are in front of it, and we've even got the Batmobile parked outside. It's been a productive week. I was intending on just doing all of the grounds on here, but obviously I thought about it, and the comments that were left by Coconut Bricks, Jack, Jamie and Eric about, am I going to have a fireman's pole or a working lift in the manor? I thought about it and I thought, yeah, it's got to be done. And after I had the problem with the grass, it was a no-brainer. So I'm really glad that they did bring that up, and because I think it has helped improve the mock considerably. Eric has also asked about the concealment of the rock work here. What am I going to be doing? And the answer is I have no idea. I've been burying my head in the sand for so long in regards to it, but I know it's something I've got to address. Had I thought about it more when I built this section out here, I could have put some mechanics in the rock work there where you just turn a lever or turn a wheel and it could have opened and closed. However, it's too late to do that now. What I could do, I could remove the slopes there, put a hinge at the bottom, and then have a rock face that comes up and down, which you just use your fingers to do it. But it would have been better if it was mechanical. And the same on the bottom there. Not sure what we're going to do with that. Had there been a pool of water or something up the top here, then I could have done like a waterfall coming over. So that was me concealing it a bit like in Batman Begins. But obviously that's not going to be the case either. So yeah, we'll have a think about that. The next thing I'm going to work on is the Batmobile and the Batwing. So that's going to give me a chance to think about it and come up with some ideas, and also give me the chance to get the bricks in to do the road, as I'm waiting for them to be delivered. They're coming directly from Lego. So we've got plenty we can crack on with while we think about that. So yeah, that's all we've got time for. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you have, please consider subscribing to the channel. We did hit 100 subscribers a couple of days ago, so thank you to everybody that subscribed to the channel, left a comment, given us a thumbs up, shared with people. Really do appreciate it. Could have done without you guys or Mrs. Dubsy Bricks. It's been brilliant. I'm loving every second of doing this YouTube channel. And thanks to Coconut Bricks Studio for all your advice and encouragement on setting the channel up. You've been great, and I really do appreciate it, Ethan. Thank you. So yeah, please give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Share it with as many people as possible, and see you next time. Thanks very much. Bye for now.